Japan, the land of the rising sun, a place where ancient traditions harmonize with futuristic technology and where history echoes through its vibrant modernity. But how did this island nation become the Japan we know today? In this video, we'll take a journey through Japan's rich, diverse history spanning thousands of years, from its mythological beginnings to its rise as a global power in the modern age. Like many ancient cultures, Japan's story begins with myths. According to Shinto beliefs, the gods Izanagi and Izanami descended from the heavens to create the islands of Japan. Legend says that their descendants, the sun goddess Amaterasu, is the ancestor of Japan's imperial family, creating a divine connection between the heavens and the emperors of Japan. But while these myths shape the spiritual and cultural identity of Japan, the country's first verifiable history began during the Jomon period, around 14,000 BCE. The Jomon people were hunter-gatherers known for their distinct pottery, some of the oldest in the world. By 300 BCE, the Yayoi period began, bringing with it new technologies from the Asian mainland, such as rice cultivation, metal tools, and organized villages. This was when the foundations of Japanese civilization truly began to form. As we enter the Kofun period, around the 3rd century AD, Japan's first major state begins to take shape, the Yamato. The Yamato rulers claimed descent from the sun goddess Amaterasu, solidifying their divine right to rule. It was during this time that Japan first appears in Chinese records, and the country began to form a centralized state with an emperor at its head. The Yamato period also marked the introduction of Buddhism from Korea and China, which had a profound impact on Japan's culture, art, and government. This was the beginning of Japan's deep connection with China, a relationship that would shape much of its future. Fast forward to the 8th century, and Japan is experiencing one of its golden ages, the Heian period. The capital moved to Kyoto, and this era is remembered for its artistic achievements, courtly culture, and the development of a distinct Japanese identity. This was the era of The Tale of Genji, often considered the world's first novel, written by Murasaki Shikibu. Aristocrats indulged in literature, art, and rituals, while the imperial court grew in prestige. But beneath the surface, political power was slowly slipping away from the emperor's hands. While the Heian court focused on poetry and beauty, local lords, known as daimyo, began amassing military power in the provinces. And soon, the warrior class, the samurai, would take center stage in Japan's political scene. The 12th century marks the rise of the samurai, a warrior class that would dominate Japan for centuries. It all started with the Genpei War, 1180 to 1185, a conflict between two powerful clans, the Taira and the Minamoto, that ended with the establishment of the Kamakura shogunate. This was the first time that a military leader, or shogun, ruled Japan, marking the beginning of the shogunate system. While the emperor remained a figurehead in Kyoto, real power rested with the samurai, ushering in an era of feudal Japan. For centuries, Japan remained fragmented, with regional warlords, the daimyo, competing for power. Yet, it was during these turbulent times that the samurai code of honor, known as Bushido, developed, emphasizing loyalty, honor, and martial prowess. By the 15th century, Japan was in chaos. The Sengoku, or Warring States period, saw daimyo constantly vying for dominance. However, 3 men would eventually bring unity to the fractured nation: Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu. Oda Nobunaga was the first to make significant headway, conquering much of Japan. After his death, Toyotomi Hideyoshi continued his work, and finally, Tokugawa Ieyasu defeated his rivals at the Battle of Sekigahara in 1600, establishing the Tokugawa shogunate. Under the Tokugawa shogunate, Japan entered a period of peace and isolation, known as the Edo period. that would last for over 250 years. But isolation wouldn't last forever. In 1853, the arrival of American Commodore Matthew Perry and his black ships forced Japan to open its ports to the outside world after centuries of seclusion. This event marked the end of the Tokugawa shogunate and the beginning of the Meiji Restoration. The Meiji Restoration in 1868 was a turning point for Japan. The emperor was restored to power, and Japan embarked on a rapid journey of modernization, embracing Western technologies and ideas while maintaining its cultural heritage. As Japan modernized, it also began to look outward, establishing itself as a formidable military power. Japan's victory in the Russo-Japanese War in 1905 shocked the world and signaled that the nation had become a new force to be reckoned with. Japan's ambitions would continue to grow, leading to its involvement in World War II. The attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941 brought Japan into direct conflict with the United States, and by 1945, Japan had suffered devastating losses, including the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Following the war, Japan emerged from the ashes with remarkable resilience. Under U.S. occupation, Japan rebuilt its economy and reformed its political system, becoming a peaceful, democratic nation and one of the world's leading economies. Today, Japan stands as a symbol of both tradition and innovation, a country where ancient temples exist alongside futuristic skyscrapers. Its history is one of remarkable transformations, resilience, and adaptation. From its mythical origins to its modern global influence, Japan's story is one that continues to captivate the world. And so, the history of Japan reminds us that no matter the challenges a nation faces, it can continue to evolve, innovate, and shape the world.